I'm Yaneli, also known as Miss Be Helpful, with another FinCap Friday brought to you by NGPF. In early 2024, the Financial Times reported that for the first time ever, combining the total value of all passively managed funds like index funds and index ETFs in the US would equal more than all of the money invested in actively managed mutual funds and actively managed ETFs. Now, this is a big deal when it comes to financial news, but what does it even mean? When someone invests in the stock market, they can choose individual stocks from thousands of companies. Now, most people want to choose from companies that they think will be worth a lot more in the future so that way they can make a profit. But picking individual stocks is risky because the companies you pick could end up dropping in value instead. Most people will pay a manager to choose stocks for them, but these managers charge fees, an average of 0.66% in fees back in 2023, which means 66 cents for every $100 compared to 0.05% to not have an active manager at all, which is just 5 cents for every $100. While fund managers might choose winning companies 2 or 3 years in a row, historical data shows that this doesn't really happen over and over again. After 15 years, roughly 90% of funds that tried to beat the performance of all the stocks in America actually ended up doing worse by December of 2023. So now more and more investors are switching from accounts with active managers and higher fees to accounts that are automatically operated by computers and come with much lower fees. These are called index funds. Index funds are designed to match the average performance of the stock market instead of trying to beat it. Think of it like a guest speaker who comes into a classroom one day and makes a bet with the teacher that they're going to pick the students who they think will be most successful in the future based on their future earnings. Now, they could either pick the 3 students they believe will earn the most and calculate the average of those 3, or they could take the average future earnings of all of the students in the whole entire class. Of course, it's impossible to know which students will actually earn the most in the future, so they'll just have to wait and see. But they still need to make their choice for this bet. Now, a lot of people would not like the idea of settling for the average of the whole class because it would include the student who ends up with the lowest earnings in the future, and that brings the average down. But it's important to remember that on the flip side of that, the average also includes all the students who are earning the most. Just imagine if one of the students in that class was named Jimmy Donaldson and he ends up growing up to become a YouTuber named Mr. Beast. If the guest speaker did not put Jimmy in his group of 3, he might end up feeling frustrated with his choice and wishing that he had bet on Jimmy instead. But how could he have known? The only way to guarantee that he would include the highest future earner, which was Jimmy, in his group would be to bet on the whole class. Index funds guarantee the average return of all the companies in the fund, the ones that don't do so well and the ones that do really well. And since index funds cost way less than actively managed funds, investment firms and investment companies are being forced to lower their fees in order to compete. And that is a good thing for anybody who wants to be an investor.